program at a later time on our AARP YouTube channel. So please click "Got It" when it appears on your screen. If you are not familiar, AARP is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people to choose how they live as they age. With nearly 38 million members and offices in every state, plus Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, AARP works to strengthen communities and advocates for what matters most, with a focus on health security, financial resilience, and social connection. I do want to read our disclaimer. This session is intended to be informational and educational and does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. You should always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare provider for diagnosis and treatment of your specific medical needs. For questions regarding personal health or medical conditions, and before beginning or changing any treatment, activity, program, or dietary plan. AARP is not responsible for the consequences of any decisions or actions taken in reliance upon or as a result of the information provided during this event. So, today's program focuses on health and wellness, which is part of our social change agenda. So who's in the audience today, Samantha? Who do you see in the chat?
Let's see. We do have people tuning in today from all across the states. We have Mary in Silver Springs, Maryland. Hello, Mary. Thanks for tuning in. Bonnie from upstate New York. We have Elaine over in Santa Clarita. And coming all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina, we have Faith. Thanks for tuning in, Faith. Darla from Bellevue, Washington. Welcome. And Bernard from Laguna Beach. So we have people tuning in from everywhere, it looks like, Jacqueline.
Oh, that is wonderful. Thank you all for being with us today. We are delighted to have all of you join us today, and I hope you have your coffee, tea, or some other beverage with you. We know that the holidays can be stressful and also a joyous time, but every once in a while, we need a little time out, just a moment to recenter and get grounded. We're excited to share with you the calming powers of Gong for the holidays. So to get us warmed up today, we have a quick poll question for you. We ask you to quickly submit your answers. Samantha? How do the holidays make you feel? Or they make you feel joyful, nostalgic, tired, sad, or some other way? Ooh, our numbers are coming in. A lot of joyfulness. Ooh, and a lot of nostalgia. Tired, 18%. Sad, 18%, or some other way. 12%. Thank you for doing our poll. We appreciate it. We hope that today's program will give you some tips on how to relax and enjoy the holidays. So it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Kathy Yep. Kathy is a tenured full professor of Asian American Studies at Pitzer College for the Claremont Colleges. She is fascinated by how people with limited resources create empowerment and change. As a certified mindfulness facilitator through UCLA MARC, a visiting teacher through Insight LA, a practitioner of Daeyeon Qigong since the 1990s, Dr. Yep examines culturally relevant and embodied approaches to liberatory education. Dr. Yep designed curriculum and trained faculty and staff and students for a pilot bias education support team. As a co-architect of the Claremont Faculty Leadership Program, she integrated and anti-racist pedagogies and contemplative practice in the professional development curriculum. Most recently, she was a visiting scholar at UCLA in 2021 and a faculty fellow at Naropa University in 2020. Raised in Northern California, Professor Yep received her BA, MA, and PhD in ethnic studies from the University of California, Berkeley. Ooh, you have done a lot of studying, Dr. Yep. As a reminder, please put any questions that you have for Kathy in the chat during the program, and she will answer them during the Q&A portion of our program. And per our tradition, to add some spice to the topic, a few fun facts about Qigong. The origins of Qigong date back 4,000 years to ancient China. There are over 500 research studies on Qigong and over 1,800 studies in Tai Chi. So what's the difference between Tai Chi and Qigong? Tai Chi is a martial art, and Qigong is an umbrella term for any form of energy cultivation. It's interesting. That's really interesting. Welcome, Kathy. Please tell us how to de-stress for the holidays.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. That was a mouthful. Thank you for your kindness. And thank you to the AARP California team. It's been such a joy to put this program together, and it's an honor to be with this community. So as the fun facts about Qigong, and I also heard that presenters tend to do fun facts about themselves. So fun fact about me is I have a new cat in my life, a rescue cat who's 2, and he likes to, when I'm stretching and doing yoga, he likes to just monitor me on top of my heart or chest. So I don't know if you all have any furry family members in your life that help and support and monitor and surveil in terms of the stretching. So today we're just going to spend some time together thinking about ways that we can return to our bodies, ways that we can return to being in the present moment with kindness in the midst of the flurry of the holidays. So what my introduction didn't mention, and I didn't submit it, was that I am the fourth generation Chinese American, and I'm the granddaughter of undocumented folks. And my papa, my grandmother who lived in Chinatown, used to practice contemplative practice. And what I appreciate is when I do this practice, it connects me with my ancestors. So when I think about holiday stress, there's ways that we can connect to ourselves and the people around us and in the present moment. So what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to do some breathing with some small movements, and we're just going to build them up onto each other. Please ask questions in the chat. We have this amazing AARP California team, and we're going to collaborate with each other. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to practice either sitting in a chair, or you can do this lying down, or you can do this standing. And I'm going to demonstrate it from standing, but you'll see my other fun fact was I broke my wrist recently. And so it's perfect for the holiday stress presentation today because unexpected things come up. So Qi is life force or energy in traditional Chinese medicine. It exists in everything and everywhere. And what different studies have shown is that it helps when we practice Qigong and movement of it through breathing, awareness, and movement. It triggers the relaxation response. And there's been different studies that show it as a positive mechanism for anxiety, depression, for balance. And so I need the balance right now, especially given this wrist right here. And then like trying to figure out how to get in the shower with the bag around it and getting clothes on. So the balance and the relaxing. So thank you for you all showing up and reminding me that I also have this practice too. So what we're going to do is we're first just going to start with the fundamentals of Qigong, which is the deep belly breathing. So in Qigong, Qi is, again, energy and life force and everything. But there's this idea of that this Qi runs through almost like expressways through our body, like freeways. So there's the 210 or the 101 if you're in the Bay Area that runs through our bodies. And at the belly is sort of the main artery of qi. It's like the Union Station or the BART station of qi. So if you think about your belly, like 2 inches below your belly button, is sort of a big storehouse of qi or energy. So what we're going to do is just start off by, let's just take 3 breaths together. And you're welcome to have your eyes open with a soft gaze, or you're welcome to have your eyes closed. But let's just inhale and exhale together, and just think of your belly at first. So inhale and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. These next few breaths, I invite you to see if you can count. And so what we're going to do is we're going to inhale and count 1, 2, and then we're going to hold for 1, and then we're going to exhale counting 1, 2, 3, and I'll count out for you. And just see if that deepens your breath, and thinking about your belly expanding as you inhale, and then you hold and then exhale, then the belly kind of contracts. Let's try the counting first. So inhale, 1, 2, hold, 1, exhale, 1, 2, 3. And just relax. And then we'll try that again. Inhale, 1, 2, hold, 1, exhale, 1, 2, 3. And then relax. We'll try it one more time. Inhale, 1, 2, hold, exhale, 1, 2, 3. So we're moving to that kind awareness to our breathing. We start off with just breathing 3 inhale and exhales, then we move to counting. And now if you feel comfortable, have a hand on your belly if you wish, or you can imagine, we're using the visual of imagining a beach ball that we're expanding on the inhale, and then we're contracting on the exhale. So I'm going to show you. So it's sort of like imagining this beach ball expanding, and I'll show you from the side. I'm going to turn my blur off. So you can choose whatever makes sense for you in terms of counting, or you can have a hand on the belly and then think of it expanding and contracting. So I'll still count, but we're just adding layers and layers to it. So you're going to get ready, and you're going to inhale 1, 2, hold, exhale 1, 2, 3. And then just relax and let it out. And let's try again. So imagine expanding the beach ball on the inhale. So inhale, expanding the beach ball, 1, 2, hold, exhale, the beach ball collapses, 1, 2, 3. Let's relax. Try this again. So inhale, expand the beach ball, 1, 2, hold the beach ball, collapse the beach ball, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's shake that out. So let's hear from folks in the chat. What did you notice with that belly breathing? And then we'll add more and more layers to it. So what do you notice in your body, in your breath, in maybe your emotion state? We heard about feeling joy and nostalgia, but what do you notice after doing some intentional breathing? And feel free to put it in the chat, knowing that it takes some time to go from practice, collapsing your beach ball, and then putting it in. Okay, feel calmer, the body relaxes and feel calm. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Cynthia. So this idea of that belly breathing, feeling focused, in biomedical terms, it's that vagus nerve and sort of doing the relaxation response. in traditional Chinese medicine, we're connecting to our core, we're connecting to our groundedness. And in the flurry of broken wrists, or in the flurry of travel, or in the flurry of what holidays mean in a lot of different ways, both joyfulness as well as nostalginess and remembering, is all of that can be held, all of that can be grounded in the belly. So start to relax, let your mind wander freely, relaxing. Thank you. Beautiful. Feel warmed up. Thank you for all this in the chat. So we're going to add another layer to it. So in traditional Chinese medicine, I practice a form called Dian Qigong, which is wild goose, and it's based on the movements of geese. It comes from the Taoist tradition, and it's the yin yang. I'm sure many of you have heard of the yin yang. So this idea of calm and energetic, and of sort of tender and quiet, and then strong. So thinking about this idea of yin and yang can help us hold the joyfulness of the holiday, and also the nostalgia, what is here, what has happened, and what is yet to unfold. So if you think about that, that relates to also the breath. Like the breathing is the inhale, the hold, and the exhale. But those are contrasts. So that's something that reminds us of all those different textures and tones that may show up in the holidays. So we're still going to do the belly breathing. As you recall, we just started with breathing, and then we counted, and then we added beach ball, right? But now I'm going to invite you, if you can, and if you're interested, is have your palms facing each other in front of your belly. And I'll show you from the side, and I'll show you from the side without the cast. And what you're going to do is you're going to just play the accordion in front of you. So you're just going to bring your palms together and then bring your palms out. So just try that with the hand motions, and then we'll add the breath. So just practice playing the accordion in front of your belly. I'll show you with the cast side, and I'll show you without the cast. And so I'm just moving my hands together. And now we're going to add breathing. So as our hands go out, you inhale, and then as the hands come together, you exhale. So inhale, 1, 2, hold, exhale, come together, 1, 2, 3. And you could go at your own pace, because maybe you're playing your imaginary accordion, maybe you're doing different music than me. I might be doing jazz, but maybe you're doing, I don't know, incredible rock accordion. So really, you know how to do this because you know how to breathe, and you know your body, and maybe you know accordion music. I don't know. So inhale, expand, exhale, come together. But think of that expansion as you inhale, opening up, and then exhale, closing and coming together. If you really love the beach ball metaphor, you can stick with that, of the beach ball inflating and then deflating, or you can stick with the accordion opening and coming down. And the invitation is no judgment. The invitation is no critique, just being with and being in this moment of breathing and expanding, exhaling, and coming into tenderness, while you're in community with all these folks who gathered together for Coffee and Tea Tuesdays, ARP California, to breathe and be in community. So let's take 3 more inhale and exhales with this accordion style. Inhale as you expand. Exhale as you come back together. 1 more inhale and exhale. And now I'm going to invite you to play. So you may pick a direction. We're doing more horizontal. You may go vertical as you expand and contract, or you may go diagonal. So where do you feel playfully wanting to move towards? and that idea of expansion and contraction. And you might even help to think of an image like a jellyfish in the ocean, pulsating and moving through the water. Or maybe you're a butterfly and the wings are opening and closing. And that element of play, meaning there's nothing to do, there's nothing to prove. You're perfect just as you are, even as you have a cast in your hand, right? There's no test, there's no Qigong $1 trillion prize. It's just breathing, moving with playfulness. How do you want to be? And if your mind enters, oh, I've got to do this thing, I got to do this thing, it's okay. Just see if you can invite it to come back to your breath and to your movement. Because our minds wander, our minds do other things, that's okay. Sometimes I think of my mind like a puppy or a toddler that kind of runs off, and then see if it can kind of just slowly come back, meandering. My nephews would never want to come back when I took care of them. Sometimes they'd go and pick like a dandelion or find a stick, and they'd slowly come back and show me the stick. But I wouldn't berate them, I wouldn't yell them. So just you wouldn't yell at yourself in that way if your mind wanders. Just that gentleness of like, oh, that's a great stick. Oh, that's a great dandelion. Like, oh, this is a great movement. I'm going to try this. Oh, with that wonder and awe of inhaling and exhaling, of being alive in this moment with all that is there, all the joy, all the nostalgia, the yin and the yang. Inhale and exhale. The jellyfish in the water opening with the tentacles moving out and coming back in. So take a few more breaths just with that playfulness. And you might think about ease, feeling the ease. Do 2 more. Inhale and exhale. 1 more. Inhale and exhale. And then if you want, you could shake out your fingers, your shoulders, whatever you need to sort of come back to the Zoom space. That also allows you chi-wise to absorb that into your body. So let's hear from folks. What was that like? We added movement. We added the accordion first, and then we added choose your own adventure. So we built from just breathing and counting, breathing with the beach ball at our belly. Then we did the accordion, and then we did choose your own adventure. So what did you notice? Faith takes out tension and body stress. Thank you. Helene, if I'm pronouncing that right, feel more joyful. Thank you. Freeing. iPhone 9, yay, freeing. Feel connected, myself, my mind, and body and spirit. Priscilla, yeah, it's so interesting, right? That way we can return to ourselves. So nostalgia can be many things around the world, around community members, families, but also to ourselves in a different way. I think about that a lot with this when I was at Kaiser yesterday, of returning to my body and what it's been through and what it will go through. I'm going to have surgery tomorrow. So part of it's like, oh, returning and being connected in that way. Calm and connected. Yay, hearts to each other. I love that you're responding to each other too. That was wonderful. I felt like a butterfly. Yes. Mindful dancing. Beautiful. Breathing rhythm caused me doze for a slow moment and coming back. All good. Yes. So the practice can be this beautiful, glorious gliding, and it could be also this moment of rest and also this moment of like, oh, what was that? So it's paying attention on purpose without judgment. That idea of mindfulness, of being with. Thank you. So I'm going to add one more piece, and then I think we're going to open it up for questions. Does that sound right? Does that sound right? Okay, these are beautiful things in the chat. I'm so drawn to what people are sharing. Yes, thank you for saying the mind wanders, because that's what it is, right? That's what our minds are trained to do. So the Qigong practice or the mindfulness practice in traditional Chinese medicines framework is, and particularly in this moment of holiday stress, is like the final exam, like trying to relax in a time when there's so much going on, right? So the idea is to be kind to yourself and rest in being, even if it's like, like, oh, I'm feeling pulled in directions, or I might be projecting because we are in finals week at the college that I'm at, and I'm getting a lot of frantic emails from students. And I was like, okay, how can we breathe? And then how can we connect with ourselves and be with what's here, and we'll be okay. So I find wandering helps me to refocus. Yes, this idea of like going out and then coming back versus the clenching. That's beautiful, Valerie. Thank you. So let's do one more layer, if that's okay, of practice, and then we'll return to a conversation. Does that sound good for folks? Yeah. So before we do that, actually, let me just say this quick thing is the reason why I'm building it upon layers, which is just starting with breathing and then counting, and then counting with hands on our belly and thinking about the beach ball. And then we did the accordion, and then we did play, is the invitation that you can practice this on your own in different spaces, right? You could do this in the car, at the stoplight, if you're driving into work. You could do this in Target while you're in line and waiting in line. There's a way of returning to your breath. Although that would be interesting to be in Target and pretend to be a butterfly and have the tentacles going too. But hey, you could try it because that's what my dad does. So, shout out to my dad if he's on the call. Sorry, Dad, I just outed you. so, um, so sorry, I'm just giggling at thinking about my dad practicing qigong in public spaces. um, let's see. Yes, while watching the news, this idea of like, how do you regulate? Like, how do you return to your body? And there's something so powerful about that we have the power to do that, right? We have agency, even when there's lots of things going on and there's big structural things. We have the power to return to our breath and feel grounded, and then maybe offer that kindness to others, right? Because we're finding kindness, returning the kindness to ourselves. And then maybe if we're in Target and there's a huge line, we can send kindness out to others, right? So part of it is that's the next layer of practice. So we did the accordion, we did the play, and now I invite you, and I'm going to show from standing, but you can do this from being in a chair. You could also do this lying down. But what you're going to do is I'll show you from the side. You're just going to push out and then pull in. So push out and then pull in. I'm just doing the hand motions, and then we'll add the breath in a short bit. So push and then pull. So push, your palm goes out. Pull, your palm comes closer to your heart. And this is a practice, and this is a movement that's in a set of Dian Qigong, Welgus Qigong. It's about 1500-ish years old. So you're just going to push and then pull. And then I invite you, as you push, exhale. So exhale. Exhale as you push out. Inhale as you pull in. So see if you can just get into that rhythm. Push, exhale, pull in, inhale. Again, your own rhythm. Doesn't have to be synchronized. Exhale, push. Inhale, pull in. And this next layer, you're pushing and pulling. If you want to rock forward and back, you're welcome to. And I'll show you from the side. But staying in balance, staying grounded. So that feeling almost like the ocean going out as you exhale, the ocean coming in. So on this next pass, I invite you to think of what do you want to send out into the world on the exhale, and then what do you want to receive on the inhale? So it could be things like phrases, like, may you feel connected. And then inhale, may I feel connected. Exhale, sending out, inhale, receiving. So it could be something like, may you feel at ease. May I feel at ease. Or it could be an image. What do you want to send out? So hearts, the world, may I receive hearts. Or it could be light. May you feel this tender golden light, or may I receive this tender golden light. Exhale, sending out. Inhale, receive. So what is it like to release and then receive? So the ocean going out and coming in. Or you can imagine, I don't know, like a cat toy that's slowly unfurling out and then it's coming back. Or maybe you've sent it out to your dog and the dog is bringing the toy back. So you could think of tossing in a gentle, kind way. Hope. May you feel hope. May I feel hope. Or it could be like a blanket, like you're at a picnic and you're unfurling the blanket and then you're receiving it. So it's some gift you're offering, waves, and then bringing back. So that balance. So sometimes I feel, and I don't know if you feel this way, in the holidays, it's always like outward facing, outward facing. And this reminds us to balance outward facing with the internal. That balance of community and the world, and then myself with tenderness and kindness. And you can do two hands. I'm sorry, I forgot that I said that with my cast. One hand is fine too, but you can do two hands. So let's do sending out and then receiving. Do three more. Exhale, send out. Inhale, receive. And then one more. And then receive. And I'm going to invite us to take a few moments just to be still and just close our eyes or soften our gaze and just breathe in and breathe out into your belly and see what you notice. Anything shifted, anything stayed the same. Inhaling and exhaling. Just sort of a general check-in. Sort of like when you walk around your place at night before you go to bed to make sure all the lights are turned off. You're just sort of walking around, make sure stove's not on. You're just checking in. No particular agenda. Inhaling and exhaling. Are there any sensations you notice? Like tingling or density? Any temperatures? Any heat or warmth or coldness? And if your mind wanders, it's okay. Let it wander. Let that puppy or toddler come back, go away, come back to bring you a stick or a dandelion. It's okay. No judgment. It just is. Take 3 more inhales and exhales, just checking in. 2. And 1 more inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, if you feel comfortable, wiggle your fingers, your toes, your neck, shoulders. And let's hear from folks. It can be questions in the chat, or it could be comments of what you noticed. I think Joyce and Jacqueline and I are going to take questions.
Absolutely. Oh, I was so relaxed. I almost forgot what I was supposed to do. That was
You're not
wonderful.
alone.
So we're going to check and see what questions that we have from Samantha or Joyce in the chat. What questions do we have for Dr. Yap?
Great noticing in the chat too. People feeling rejuvenated, peaceful, loving the push-pull technique. So I have videos on YouTube under Cafe Up that are available for free with the push-pull if you want to revisit that. That was with a community partner that they needed some video resources. So feel free to go on YouTube, Cafe Up, and then also my website, cafeyup.com. I have a lot of resources available. A wonderful way to love our bodies. Yep, thank you for that, Gwendolyn. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are feeling discomfortable, like wonderful. And I liked how I liked how you did it so effortless, where it wasn't a strain to try to be the butterfly like your dad said. I thought that was so cute. Valerie's talking about, she said that she learned how to relax her neck and her body by doing this, which is great. Here's a question from Priscilla. She says, what is the best time recommended to practice doing these type of exercises?
So that's such a good question, Priscilla. My answer is actually anytime, with the specifics of in the traditional Chinese medicine knowledge system, there's different times of the day that have work with different meridians. So it's almost like if you are in Southern California, there's the 210 and the 110 and the 5. Each of those freeways have different peak times. So there's some resources on my website, cafeyup.com, that sort of gives a deeper dive. But generally in the morning, it's that kind of ease-filled, slowly getting into the day. And then generally at night, if you're needing to just slowly get back into sleep, it's also not, watching TV or content, and then coming back to your breath and sort of preparing your body of like, okay, now we will rest. If you're midday and there's a lot happening, it could be just coming into awareness versus relaxing to get ready to sleep. So they have different purposes at different times of the day. What I appreciate about the breathing and the push-pull is that it isn't a prescription of you can only do it at one time. So returning to your breath midday might have a feel of, you might be more alert actually, but it's an alertness that isn't exhausting. And then if you do belly breathing when you come to bed and you're slowly getting ready for the night, it's sort of almost putting things aside. It's like taking your jewelry off. It's like putting things, setting it up. So the breathing is still happening, but it has a different kind of awareness and intention. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, please ask another question and I'll get clarified further. Yeah.
No, that was pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another statement where they said that can we do this when we have a stressful moment occurred? So and I think you mentioned that earlier, when you start feeling stressful and tired, this is the best time to do it. Just go in a corner, or tell me, what is another way of doing that?
Yeah, when a stressful moment occurs, it's like it could be almost like you have water that just like, well, that cold water that shocks you. So part of it is just returning to your breath and coming back to your belly and just reconnecting in that alignment of your body and your breathing, and then just regulating. I was at Kaiser yesterday and they're doing my blood pressure, and they're like, imagine something peaceful, but it was like all these sounds and all these things happening. I was like, oh, okay. And I just put my hand on my belly and I closed my eyes and I imagined the beach ball expanding and closing. And then the nurse goes, wow, your blood pressure just dropped a ton. So it's that moment of we have power in situations we often feel helpless. Like I felt helpless, like there was nothing I could do, right? So thank you for that question.
That was a good one. There's another question about what recommendations do you take us that we can go to the next level? Do we create a daily practice, or what is it that we can do?
Yeah. So the next level, create a daily practice. A part of it is making a ritual of it, just as like when we brush our teeth or when we make breakfast, is how, so you could attach the breathing, awareness of breathing with something you do in a daily life. So when I brush my teeth, I often do belly breathing, or I often just have a gratitude practice like, thank you, teeth. Thank you for being here, which is, again, not a small thing. I'm sorry, I'm just revealing so much information about myself, which may not be a fun fact, but I have to have a tooth implanted. I just found out I have a cavity and I have to have a root canal. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what this means. Like, so this morning when I brushed my teeth, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, teeth. You're going to have a lot of hands and objects. So it's coming to the breath, right? And then so the daily practice, taking it to the next level, attaching a ritual of breathing with something you do in daily life. The second piece is community, widening the circle. This is why AARP's programming is so brilliant, because it's constantly creating community, but it's also creating community, but asking, how are you feeling? Tell us about yourself. Those are ways that how I see it and appreciate is building that connective tissue. So ritual, regular practice, daily life, and then also doing it with other folks. And so that it doesn't feel like it's only on you. It doesn't feel like it's only an isolated thing.
Wow, that's a great way of capsulizing it. I like that. That's good. One of the members saying she has to remember to breathe before she visits her doctor. Me too. Because sometimes going to doctors are very stressful. So I agree with that one. Another
Yes.
question is, before bed, will this technique help having to assist in having a good night's sleep? Oh.
Ooh, that's a great question, Gwendolyn. So there's been quite a few studies, and particularly in relation to people my age and above, and I'm in my 50s, and that correlates if you practice Qigong, Tai Chi, or movement-based mindfulness from the traditional Chinese medicine tradition, that it helps with sleep. From a more personal perspective, as someone who's had cancer twice and is currently going through this and will have a root canal soon, is my mind was thinking last night, like, oh no, I have to talk to my students. I have to like push these meetings aside. Oh no, I have the surgery. So I have to like make sure I only have apple juice because I can only have apple juice 2 hours before the procedure. Like I was just running through this list. And then I was like, oh, what if I just breathed? What if I did the push pull and just sent it out? Like, okay, kindness to my students, my employer, kindness to myself. And it allowed my mind to go from clenching, and I could feel my jaw clenching, and then just relaxing and easing. And then it helped also to put my phone somewhere else. And then also, that sense of like giving yourself that play and that ease that we practice. So when we practice the accordion or the play and the ease, it's to help remind ourselves and our bodies that we can be playful, we can feel spacious, like the jellyfish in the ocean. So when there's times when we're in bed and we're thinking, that we can be like, oh, we remember what that's like. We remember what it's like to feel spacious. So thank you for that question, Gwendolyn.
Wow, thank you so much. There are so many members that are on the Zoom team are saying how grateful it is and how things that, that they can do now to move forward. And that breathing is number one. So I think if we would all maybe take a few moments and breathe, like you said, before stressful moments and after stressful moments for sure, before going to the doctor or doing one of those tasks that you have to do, if you breathe first, take it in, put yourself in another place. I think that would be great. So thank you so very much. Back to you, Jacqueline.
Oh my goodness, this is really wonderful. And I think, Kathy, we really thank you so much. I think that sometimes, I know me, I think I have to stop everything and get to a spot where I can do deep breathing. And then I tell myself, from what you just said, if I know I have to stop and do it, then I need to stop and do it right then and there. And so this has been very helpful. I've learned a lot. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So before we close out, we'd like to take a quick pulse on what you have learned today, what everyone has learned today. So put in the chat what Qigong tips you are likely to try. Okay, Joyce, can you read us?
Okay, I'm waiting for the chat to come up. So come on, you guys, put it in there. I know you've learned a lot of things.
It'd be so much fun, more fun teaching my college classes with the AARP California team.
So one of the things is breathing. So definitely breathing. Definitely remember to breathe. I keep seeing a lot of the jellyfish breathing and floating in the ocean. Yes, I could do that. Floating in the ocean, that would be good. Breathing with imagination, imagining where you could be. That's really good. So thank you again. Breathing is definitely a key. And this has been perfect. See, this person is a physician, and they will offer this practice to their patients who need it. Just breathe. Oh, that's a great one. Thank you so much, Cynthia. And it says, Kathy, any books you can recommend right now for this?
Yes. So there's a book called Breath by James Nestor, and it historicizes it, but also has some science behind it. There's a great Qigong book by Kenneth Cohen, and that's sort of an intro thing. And I'm working on a book based on these AARP conversations. So thank you, AARP California, for inviting me to consider like how to write this out. So this will be good structure for me to get that done. But you're welcome to come and practice. I have drop-ins on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and then for Sundays at 10, and it's on my website, and it's open to all. And there's a couple of folks who have been coming regularly who met me on the AARP sessions. So you'll be in the AARP community if you come. So all ages, all shapes, all sizes, all ways of being, and it's been joyful to practice. So please come and continue to practice.
Okay, well, thank you so very much. I'm going to send it back to Jacqueline. And the key right now is breathing. Slow, control, breathing. Stay in focus and don't let that stress get to you. Just
especially right now.
Yeah, because this is a very stressful time right now when it comes to the holiday time. And loved ones, they're not around or far away. So if you breathe, imagine that your loved ones are here with you. I get it. So now you got me breathing now. Back to you, Jacqueline.
Oh, this has been tremendous. Thank you so much, Dr. Yep. We really appreciate it. So everyone, finally, let us know how we're doing by filling out our survey. The link has been placed into the chat. Please complete that. And some upcoming events. Our next Tea and Coffee Tuesdays monthly meeting is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 9 a.m. So please join us for that. And again, a big thank you to our guests, Dr. Kathy Yep, our moderator, Joyce Howard and Samantha, our tech specialists, Connie Moore and Sarita Cardoza, our AARP staff, and of course, every single one of you for joining us and all year being with us. We really appreciate you. And Again, I'm Jacqueline Cole, your host. Thank you for joining us today. Have an amazing holiday season, however you choose to celebrate, and remember to breathe. This concludes our program.